well, welcome back. This is lesson 2 in your bass guitar tutorials. So today we're going to take a look at 2 of the strings on the bass guitar. To get started, it's not so bad just to focus on playing 2 of the strings. And specifically, it's going to be the 2 lowest strings. So again, those are the 2 that are closest to your face. So the low E string, right, that's what essentially is the top string. So wide open, that's your low E. Now, if you're coming over from piano, the rest of these notes are going to be very easy for you to remember. That on fret 1, that's going to be your F note. Fret 2 is F sharp. Fret 3 is G. Fret 4 is G sharp, A, and so on all the way up the neck. So you're already familiar with the half steps and where the whole step is, and so you are set to go on all of those notes. So really it's just the memorization of, well, what is fret 1, what is fret 3, what is fret 5. And also on this side of your neck, there are fret markers. Hopefully your guitar has these fret markers, so that the 3rd fret is where that first dot is, 5th fret, 7th fret, 9th fret, and then it's the 12th fret, which oftentimes has 2 dots to let you know where you are, so that when you're playing, and really you're not necessarily looking all the way over at your guitar, but you're seeing this side, you can easily see which fret you're at. So how to fret a note. So the fret is the metal strip on the guitar. And so where you want to place your note or your finger is directly to the left of whichever fret you're intending to be on. So if I want to play a G note, that's the 3rd fret. And so 1 marker, 2, 3, right? So I'm going to place it just to the left, visually from my end, to the left of that. So it's right behind the fret. Because the metal where it's pressing helps make that note ring out nice and clear. If you get a little too far away from the 3rd fret, you'll probably hear some buzz, and you don't want that. So you want to be very near it or directly to the left of it. From your viewpoint, it's obviously directly to the right of it. And there's your G. Okay, I like to pluck with my fingers. I usually use my index finger, although if I'm playing something quickly, I'll use 2 fingers in succession. And then also, while I'm at it, I'm pressing down on just the 1 string. I don't have to press any of the other strings, but my finger is typically laying on them so that they're not making any noises or they're not rattling. If you just play or you're not touching the other strings, sometimes you might hit them or you might hear some extra vibrations or notes that you don't want. So yeah, I just kind of lazily lay it over so that it just mutes them. So that's your low E. So if you're wanting F, G, A, B, C, D, and then of course on your 12th fret, right, you've hit the whole octave, you've hit it all, so you're back to an E, just an octave higher. So typically, as a beginner, I would just use that low E to play an open E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp. And that's really the only 4 frets I would need, because once you get to the 5th fret, that's an A. And the other place where I would play an A is on the 3rd string. So from top to bottom, it's actually the 2nd from my face. So that open string, that's what we tune to an A. So I could play the low E on the 5th fret, or I could play the A string open. And then on that A string, right, every fret, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, and then right here I'm at an E. So 7th fret on that A string is an E. It's just an octave higher than your low E. So as you're playing, you can kind of decide, well, do I want this one note to be really low? Then I'll back off to the low E. Or if you want it to sound a little higher or a little punchier, you can play the 7th fret on the A string. So if you're looking for like the easy cheat codes, right, you would just need the first 4 frets on your low E and the first 6 frets of your A string. And you would never have to play any other notes because that's all of them. But here's your E on the 7th fret, and then F, F sharp, G, G sharp, and then up to A on the 12th fret. And we can certainly keep going if you're wanting to memorize more of these strings, your higher 2 strings. You're welcome to work with those as well, because this the next string over, we tuned that to a D. So you've got D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G. So you can start to experiment with where all of your G notes are at. G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, back to D. And then your G string, right? Your highest string. G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E. So now you've seen like 3 octaves of E's, right? There's E, here's E, here's E, those are the same, and here's E. F, F sharp, and G. So again, 3 different separations of G notes, and you can go higher than the 12th fret. I wouldn't say that I often get all the way up there, but if you're looking to do some crazy slides, you certainly might. So those are the low 2 strings primarily, low E and the A string. So those are the notes, right? I can get you some just pictures of the fretboard if you're wanting to like do some just hardcore memorization. That's certainly something that you can do. But otherwise, I just tend to hang around the low E and the A string, and that takes care of 99% of what I do in basic bass guitar land.